Another very good team, the team that we played in the first one-dayer of the season, the young Ramjet 11. And things started well for the Flanders under their standing captain, NFXI, will be captaining the team for just the second time. And after some inspiring words before the game, including a brief congratulatory message to the great NFXI being named the Queensland Church's state captain, and he'll tour Sydney along with teammates like Steve Dirksen and Sean Mead. So it's a great honour for the great club to have the Queensland Church's captain along with another couple of players in that 13-man Queensland rep squad. So XLB took that responsibility on his broad shoulders and played one of the great innings in Flanders history. In fact, he became just the second man ever to score a century as captain and went on to post 160, the highest score ever made by a Flanders captain. A record that he took off me, so I'm pretty proud to pass that baton on to the great man Exelby. Not only did he score 160 brilliant runs, but he timed the declaration on that first day absolutely perfectly. And when the Flanders declared at 7 for 327, we had about an hour left to bowl at the young Ramjets. Before we get to our bowling innings, we really need to pay some special attention to the work of sneaky Peter Simmons at the top of the order, who, in a third-wicket partnership of 140 with Liam Exelby, scored 61 of his own runs before he was absolutely pointlessly run out, with 100 staring him in the face. It was one of the great innings by Sneaky Pete, who took on the fast bowlers. He took on the new ball, took a couple on the body, but showed no pain. Just gritty determination. That is the hallmark of this young bloke's play and this young man's character in the broader sense of life. Very good contributions came from Leap and Leo again. He scored a very nice 42. Before Preds came in lay down in the order and peeled off 36 in a big hurry. Played an absolutely superb innings, Big Matty forward. So the Flanders at 7 for 327, things were looking pretty good. An hour later, when they came off at stumps, with the Mormon innings absolutely in tatters at 6 for about 40, things were looking even better. And the men who caused all that damage up there at the top of the order were Benny Field, as you'd expect. Yet another brutal display by Benny Field with a new ball. Stevie Dirksen chipped in with a couple of wickets, and Meady got a wicket there as well. The catching was absolutely sensational, with Exelby pulling off one of the great slips catches in Flanders history, one-handed, low down to his left. Frankie peeled off a pearler at short mid-wicket. All the boys were doing their job. I forgot to mention last week Rowie took 3 catches as well, and as usual, the man that you don't notice is the man behind the stumps, because he never lets anything through, never misses a catch, and never lets in too many never lets too many buys go past either. He's a credit to the club, that man Dan Rowe. So with 327 on the board and 6 wickets in the sheds already, the Flanders were looking really good in week 2 to try and push for an outright. Unfortunately, the initial batsman at the crease really showed some sterling resistance, and it wasn't until JP came on and bowled some beautiful looping leg spinners that we could get the breakthrough. He took that first wicket just on the 1 hour mark of the next week. After the drinks break, we came out, and Stevie and Benny and JP, they all bowled well again to wrap up that first innings points with a big lead. And with a lead of well over 200, the Flanders sent the Ramjets back into bat. They made them follow on. And we had about 55 overs to try and get another 10 wickets to steal that outright win that we were looking for. And things started really well. Stevie Dirksen bowled superbly well, as did Benny, as you'd expect. Meady bowled an unbelievable spell, 16 over marathon spell. Beat the bat at least 2 or 3 times every over. Was desperately unlucky not to jag a bag of wickets. Ramjam chipped in with a couple of really important ones. But as the sun set in the west and the boys started getting a bit tired at the end of a long day in the field, the outright win was looking a little bit elusive. And it really took some inspired bowling from Benny and also Stevie and Meady to get us home in the end. And in fact, Stevie Dirksen took the 10th wicket in the second last over of the day with just 9 balls in the day's play left. It was an unbelievable performance by Stevie. He took, what did he take? Let's have a quick squeeze. He took 4 wickets for 32. Unbelievable spell. Meady got a couple of wickets there, and Ramjam and Fieldy each took 2. So the catching on these 2 days was sensational. The spirit was fantastic, and as we were really pushing hard for that outright win, when it was looking a bit unlikely, it was the famous Flanders spirit and pride that got us over the line. And I just think that those outright points, those 4 extra points, might come in very, very, very handy by the end of the season. So next game, it's the tough one. It's the Mustang Sallies. Even though we beat them in the one-day comp, I still think they'll have something to prove, and they'll come out firing next week when we play them.